My name is Saransh Chaudhary. I am the CEO of Venus Medicine Research Center, President of Global Critical Care, and a strategic board advisor. I think the growth outlook for the Indian pharmaceutical sector is quite optimistic, which has remained largely resilient with the disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. I think there are various strengths that are working in our favor. We have a very strong and robust manufacturing supply. I particularly would like to, I take pride in the fact that we've risen to the occasion. We've served the needs, an unprecedented demand of 130 crore people, 140 crore now. And so I think from an overall standpoint, we are poised to post a very good growth. I think the official numbers say that we are expected to post about a threefold growth by the end of the decade. In the next 3 to 4 years, we are expected to grow at a CAGR of about 15%, which is quite healthy for the sector as well. And I think the export base is something that we should be particularly proud of. We've grown into a 24 billion odd export base, which we can easily double by the end of the decade. And from a value and volume creation perspective, we are already the third in the world in terms of volume. We are 14th in the world in terms of value, and I think that's where perhaps there is more work that can be done. And I'm sure that we, including and as well as other companies, are definitely working in that area. And I think value creation is perhaps something that should be the outlook for the next decade. I think India is already a force to reckon with in the global pharmaceutical industry. I don't think that there is any country in the world that we do not already export to. So it's like, our export base is very strong. And in terms of, building on its strengths, I think the manufacturing is a key strength. We are a vaccine manufacturing powerhouse already. We are a generic drugs manufacturing powerhouse. We already are amongst the leaders. We call the pharmacy of the world. And I think if the one area where I think there is untapped potential, that is in the area of new drug development and research. I feel there is tremendous potential in India to do new drug research, which is untapped. And we need to look into that specific area, I think, where a lot of value creation can happen. So I think if I had to sum it up, I'd say that we've already nailed the volume-driven business, and I think it's high time that we look and nail the value creation business. I think research in general, as a company who's invested in research for over 2 decades now, we believe and fundamentally believe that research can change lives of patients. And I think so from that standpoint, and you mentioned research in general, so I'd say that research not only in the R&D or in the pharmaceutical space, but in every domain, right? So as a company, we look at logistics and we look at, what can we do from a logistics standpoint to reduce the time it is required for us to reach to the patients, because e-pharmacy it depends on the speed of logistics, because people are not going to buy medicines in the anticipation that they're going to require it, specifically for acute therapies. So if it's a chronic therapy, you can and you can plan when your insulin supply is going to be due. But in a chronic infection, for that matter, you would need your supplies immediately. And I think from that standpoint, research in every area is critical. We have been investing in it. We truly believe in in what research can do and bring about. We've seen how a new antibiotic therapy can be life-saving. And I think we can start small. We can start at, even if we believe that we don't have the infrastructure at the moment to create, let's say, a completely new chemical entity and bring something from scratch all the way into translational medicine and bring it to the market. We can start with things like formulation research. We can start with things like, fundamentally improving our capability of, let's say, preclinical research or clinical trials in India. And I think that is going to eventually get to a point where we are able to build a research ecosystem which is self-sustaining and something that we can, put in parallel to pretty much any other place in the world. So we have a lot of IP wealth that we've created over the years. A lot of it has to do with the antibiotic space and what we realize. So we have over 100 patents that are already filed. We have another 50 to 60 patents which are pending approval. Most of this IP wealth, in the past, we've only largely been able to encash it from a domestic standpoint, but over the last couple of years, we've aggressively looked at capitalizing on and leveraging this IP wealth internationally as well. So Illoris, for instance, was launched in the Indian market a few years ago, but now the drug is available in 14 countries around the world, and it's pending registrations in a lot of other countries as well. And everything that we're developing now, from SDN to Renal Guard, is keeping in view the global scope of where the drug really has a potential and where is it that the burden of AMR is as well. We've entered the consumer healthcare space largely to cater to the requirements and the needs of the informed Indian consumer. The consumer who we believe is, especially after the pandemic, is very aware of their healthcare requirements and the fact that they want to make an informed decision. And we've entered this space with the vision to, empower the customer and propel the whole category of pain management forward by empowering them with the information they require to make an informed decision. And Reset is just one of the first few offerings that we have in this, which we have planned for this. And we have a whole pipeline of products that we've planned in the hygiene space, in the stress management space, in the vitamin and mineral space as well. And I think that the vision that we have for this consumer, and especially the digital technologies that enable reaching out to the consumer directly, which was never possible before. So I seriously believe that never before was there a time when the technology was able to meet the demand or the expectation that the consumer has from the brands. And so we're really in this unique position, which is why I think it was the right time for us to enter into this space. And I think we have some interesting plans to connect with the consumer and to be able to make their life better, specifically because we come from a significant experience of marketing in the prescription space, pain management solutions. So we have, and we're banking on that knowledge that we already have of that space, and we're bringing with us, let's say, experts in the orthopedic space, from the physiotherapy space, to actually curate content, so that, because there's a lot of misinformation out there as well. So we want people that who come to the Reset website or who are to engage with us on any social media platforms to also consume quality content that helps them not only, as I mentioned, relief, but also to revive and restore, which are beyond the realms of what the product offering is. So it's more like an experience offering, and we've entered into, let's say, knowledge sharing domain as well. I think digital technology and leveraging digital technology is something that we believe we are very rightly poised to do. If you go through our website, we have a specific segment which is a multi-stage self-diagnosis process, which has a questionnaire that has been curated by experts on our panel, experts that come from orthopedics and physiotherapy backgrounds, which enables the customer to go and have a self-diagnosis in terms of what it is that they would like to do. And this diagnosis allows us to personalize at scale. And this again is something which was never possible without technology.